I'm Susan McLaughlin-Jones, and I teach at Lafayette High School in Lexington, Kentucky. Today, what you'll be seeing is my freshman science classes, and you'll be seeing all levels. Today's lesson is wrapping up our unit on momentum. They'll be reviewing and testing over the next two classes. We started the whole unit where they wrote papers about whether or not they thought seatbelts should be required by law, and then we've gone through and learned about momentum and learned about how forces change based on time of impact. Today they are wrapping up the math on impulse and impact, and they are now applying that math to egg drops. After they finish testing, we'll be coming back and they'll be working momentum into what they've already written at the beginning of the unit.
I felt compelled to become a culturally responsive educator for a couple different reasons. First of all, while I've never been part of a historically oppressed minority, my history has always been one of being the minority. I grew up in an ethnic Portuguese area where most of my friends' parents were first generation, or my friends themselves are first generation Americans. So I grew up hearing wherever I went Portuguese, and because it was also a French Canadian community, I heard a lot of French in the area. And when you talk about values, beliefs, and behaviors, you're now talking about culture. And so there are some big cultural differences that are very hidden that as part of the majority group we don't see and we don't understand near as well. So that's why it's become very important to me. One of the first ones I use is risk-safe teaching for independent work. When we were working in the classroom today, you'll see that students are working out problems as a group before putting solutions up on the board. The students are given the answer and are asked to find the solution. And what I'm doing specifically is making sure that wrong answers can't be attributed to any one student in the room. And that protects students and allows them a little more freedom to be wrong and to learn from those mistakes. Some other things I do is multiple experiences for deep theory discussion. Even the disengaged student will participate or at least hear those conversations, which they wouldn't get in a typically perfectly quiet classroom. While it is a lot of front-loaded work, for once in my 20 years of teaching, I really feel like it's making a difference for the kids. I'm not just keeping them on a treadmill, and that's really energizing. So it's helping me become a better teacher. My students are learning, they're not just passing. On some nationally normed tests, I was able to demonstrate that they've closed the achievement gap in growth, regardless of their demographic background. And I've also been able to have my junior students hit benchmark at nearly the rate of our pre-engineering magnet students.
Recognize that not all students experience classrooms the same way. That because the culture of schooling is set on the majority's value system, that many kids face obstacles. And many kids are already using their finite levels of resiliency in other avenues of their life, and when they come into schools, we shouldn't need them to be resilient to be successful. So what I'm doing in here is I'm reducing the obstacles that students face due to cultural boundaries, and allows them to access the curriculum at the same way their peers can.